Sunday and welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be making over this space right here, which is kind of the first space that you see when you walk into our home. Our front door is directly across from this, so this is kind of our entryway living room sort of space. And so I want to redo this space to just kind of update it, make it more my style, add some DIY features that are going to pull it together with the room and make it just a lot more special and unique and kind of like a statement area when you enter the room. Right now, this space has been this way since I moved in. This is the decor that I've had here pretty much the entire time that I've lived here, so it really hasn't been updated or redone. It just doesn't feel really representative of my style now. It feels more like my style when I moved into this house when I was a lot younger. So I really want to just freshen this up, give it a different look, and make it a lot more of that vintage French country look that I personally really like. And we're gonna do a couple of little DIYs for over here to make it really, really special. There's a couple of things that I want to do in this space. We're going to be making a wooden mantle inspired shelf. We're going to completely swap up the decor over here and just really kind of refresh it with things that I already have on hand or that I'm making. So if you're interested in seeing how this mini makeover turns out and maybe doing some of these DIYs with me, then stick around and watch this video and we're going to get right into it. All right guys, so the first thing that we need to do over here is move out some of the things that have just kind of collected in this space so that we have a clear area to work with. We can wipe everything down and make sure it's super clean and nice before we move in new decor. This space has kind of just become like a catch-all for my flea market finds, vintage items, and all that kind of stuff when I go thrifting and do hauls, and I have things that I want to use in future videos or makeovers that I need to hold on to and can't really put into their space yet. It kind of just ends up over here and I stick it under this table right here. It's not the best looking right now. It's kind of cluttered. I had it organized and now it's just kind of dumped over here. I want to try and find another area to kind of house these things so it's not the first thing you see, and then it can be a backup space if I have to put something here. The first thing I want to do is move all this stuff out and wipe everything down, and then we'll be able to start on our DIY project for this area that I'm really excited about, where we're going to make a wood mantle inspired floating shelf. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. Done everywhere. Okay, so we got everything cleared out, which is already a big improvement. So what I want to do now is move all this stuff off of the table so that I can sort through what I want to keep, what I want to donate, and then what I'm going to use elsewhere. I already know this stuff right here I'm going to keep. I do think I want a different frame for this, but I don't have one this size right now, so we'll keep it like that for now. But yeah, these are like my sentimental items. This is the first trip that we took together, and then these are our wedding albums. So definite keep over here. I love them over here. Candles I'm going to keep. We're going to set them off to the side so I can wipe everything down, and then we'll put them back in when we're decorating later on. These are the candles that I made in one of my earlier videos. We did Mod Podge pressed flowers onto candles and they turned out so pretty. I just love these. I have two over here like that. Definitely going to put these back in. And then this guy I might put back over here, but it could go literally anywhere. It's just like a scent diffuser, but it smells so good, so I'm definitely keeping it. It's the Mason Burger scent diffuser. If you haven't heard of it, they make amazing scents. Definitely recommend. These little candles I have pressed on with a little dot of earthquake tack so they don't come off like if you bump them. So you have to just twist them and they pop off. But I'll put these back here for sure. These little guys my dad got me, I think, yeah, when he was in Budapest. And I just think they're so, so pretty. And then this guy I'm probably going to donate. I've had this for a while and it just doesn't really fit the vibe of the space anymore. I have one other little Buddha head on our mantle over here that's a glass from Italy, from the, I think it's the Murano Islands over there where they hand blow the glass. So that one is gorgeous, definite keep. but this little guy is just like one that I got at Marshall's. So I'll probably donate this. I'm also gonna donate the lamp. It just doesn't fit my vibe anymore. This guy I'm just gonna use for storage somewhere. I probably won't have it on display, but it's perfectly fine. It's just doesn't really fit this space, so I'll probably just use it for storage in a closet or something like that. Okay, so now that we have it all clean and cleared out and we know what we're keeping, what we're getting rid of, what I want to do is work on our DIY shelf that we're going to be making. And that's going to go basically right here. It's going to be like a thick wood floating shelf, kind of wooden mantle inspired shelf. And I want to use that to hold some old books that we have, some bust style bookends, and maybe like a candle or something like that, some little decor items. We're going to be swapping out this picture as well. I love this picture. I kind of just want to switch it up for this space. So I'm still going to keep the picture and just set it off to the side in our house in a little like storage area. But I want to put up a new picture that I have that I think will just kind of really go with the space and bring this area to life. Yeah, that's where we're going to start. So I already cut the wood that we need. If you want to make this shelf, then you can follow along with this process and you'll just adjust the wood measurements to be the measurements that you need. But everything else that I do, you'll do exactly the same. All right, guys. So to make our shelf, we're only going to need 5 pieces of wood to make the actual shelf, and then we'll make a support bracket to mount it to. Since it is a floating shelf style, it needs something to kind of sit onto on the wall. So for the actual shelf itself, we're going to have 2 shorter end pieces that are going to go on the sides, 3 long pieces that are all the same size. Basically what we're doing is we're making a long rectangular box with one side left open, and that's going to be the side that sits against the wall. That will make it kind of that floating shelf look. This is all reclaimed wood. I got this off of Facebook Marketplace totally free. Someone was just getting rid of it. They had their stairs redone and this wood had been what their stairs was made of, along with some really big thicker pieces as well. So I got all of the wood that they removed from the stairs. All I had to do was like remove the nails and staples and things like that. So this project is totally free for me to build. This is also the same wood that I got when I made the bath tray, and that was the thicker wood that they had. So from that one Facebook Marketplace pickup, we'll have wood for multiple projects to be totally free. I cleaned it up already, took all the nails out, sanded it, cut it, all that kind of stuff. And now all we have to do is wood glue it, clamp it so that it can dry, and then we'll put some finishing nails in just to really hold it all together super well, because it is going to be supporting books. So I want to make sure it's nice and strong. This shelf will be good to attach to the wall. So it's a pretty easy project. Doesn't take a lot of time, just really kind of the bulk of the time is letting the glue dry, and then we'll be ready to go. I'm gonna pick what piece I want to be the front and the top because those are the ones that you're actually gonna see. So I'm gonna pick the coolest looking pieces for that. This one is pretty simple, so that might be my bottom piece. This one's pretty cool. I like the ones that have knots, a lot of grain and texture to them. So this might be a front or a top for me. And then this guy, which has some good grains, but it also has a lot of these like old staple holes, which I like. I'm thinking this is going to be my front, so I'm going to put that face down on the floor because we're going to kind of build this like if we were looking into it. Our perspective is the wall, if that makes sense. And then we're going to build some sides from there. So this will be the bottom, that'll be the top. I'm going to add some wood glue. I have the Gorilla wood glue, and then we're just going to clamp it all together and add the sides on and let this dry. I grabbed a couple of my clamps from the garage. I have 3 in here. I might need to grab 1 or 2 more. We'll see. You can also always do this in stages if you only have 1 clamp, or if you don't have any, then you could use books or heavy items to kind of just hold them together and just kind of make it work with what you have. Yeah, that'll probably be good. So I think I only need 2 clamps. I'm just gonna apply wood glue along the bottom of this board, and then we can wipe up any excess, but we'll also sand down any wood glue that kind of seeps out from the edges once it all dries. So if it's a little bit messy, it's not a big deal, but I also just like to kind of wipe it up so that it's less work for me. I'm just going to put a healthy dose of my wood glue, and you really do want to put like a fair amount of this because this is the main thing that's going to be holding it together. We'll have finishing nails, but those are not super strong. So those are kind of just a backup measure. We have our glue, and then we will prop it up like this and line it up. We'll do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same exact thing on the sides of my end pieces, and then we can clamp it all together and just let it dry. Pretty easy. Cool, so now we're just going to clamp it together and we will be good to go. Okay, so I set our faux beam shelf off to the side to dry. It's just right here. And we're gonna put together our support bracket that's gonna go inside of our floating shelf. To do that, we just need one long piece of wood. Really, whatever you have is gonna be fine. I used a 2x2 because I had that on hand and I thought it would work well. And I just cut it just shy of the length of my beam so that it'll fit inside of it. I did 6 little pieces of wood. Really, it's just gonna be the length that will fit comfortably inside of your shelf, so it's going to be different for you if you have different dimensions than me. And I did 6 just for the length that I have. If you make a bigger shelf than me, mine's about, I think, like 40-ish inches. So if you make a bigger shelf than me, then you might want to add more than 6 of these. If you make a smaller shelf, you might not need as many. These are just going to attach all down your support beam like this, and it's going to make it so that we can attach our support beam to the wall, put finishing nails into all of these little pieces in our shelf to hold it onto the wall, so it's not just sitting on top of the support beam, it's also attached. This will kind of make more sense as we assemble it on the wall too, but just so you understand why we're doing this doesn't really need to be pretty. If you can see, I just like lightly sanded it. It's not well sanded at all, and that's because it's going to be inside of our shelf, so you're really never going to see it, you're never going to touch it. So we have our shelf all built and ready to go. I put in just some little finishing nails around the edges to really secure it, but it is pretty solid. So we're gonna mount this to the wall, and then we can put our art and decorate the space, and then we'll be all done. To mount that to the wall, we're gonna use this little guy that we made, and it's gonna attach so that this gets screwed into the studs like this, and then we'll set our shelf on top of it and do some finishing nails from the top into all of the wood posts that we have. It's going to be pretty secure. We need to go ahead and find our studs so that we can put this into like a really solid part of the wall and we don't have it falling out once we put decorative items on it. I have my little stud finder, so we're going to mark it out. So we got it up. It's super solid. Definitely finding the studs was the way to go because this one is like decorative. It did not do much going in. So we're gonna put our shelf on top of this, and then we're gonna drill some little pilot holes to put finishing nails into this back part and then also here so it's really strong, and then we'll be able to hang our art and do all of our decorating. Alright, so our shelf is up. This thing is super sturdy, so I'm really excited about that because I plan to put decor items on it, so I want it to be able to support the weight of whatever I put on it. So we're gonna hang our piece of art above it, which I'm really excited about. This is something that I just recently got when we were flea market shopping. It's gonna be in an upcoming haul as well, so I can tell you a little bit more about it, but we just went to North Carolina. I found this at a flea market and I love it. I think it's so gorgeous, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it for for this space. I think it's just going to be such a beautiful piece to see when you first walk in the door, to welcome people to our home, and just like very representative of my style and our home. We are going to hang that. It's a very heavy, large piece of art, so we're going to put 2 picture hooks that support a lot of weight into the wall so that we know it's going to be really secure. When I put all the decor pieces up here, I'm going to use some of that earthquake tack to hold them down so that I know if the table gets bumped or something like that, they're not going to fall off and get broken, or more importantly, hurt Nala. So I want to make sure everything's really, really secure so that I don't have to worry about something falling. Okay, so we have 2 picture hooks on the back of this picture. So I took a piece of painter's tape and stuck it across them and just marked where they were. That way we can put the tape on the wall and hang our hooks that way rather than having to hold this super heavy picture up. And while we were doing that, I noticed, well actually Matt noticed, that there's what looks like a frame, like an original frame inside of here. If you see this part, and then it has a second part over that. I thought that it was just, this was the canvas that the print was on, but when we turned it around, we saw that this was actually the original frame, and then they built it into a larger frame to make it more substantial. So it looks like they put a frame in a frame, made it super cohesive and pretty, so you can't really tell. It's just really interesting to see how they kind of like built on that. Does this look good? All right, the picture is up. I'm obsessed with this picture. I was just telling Matt, he complained about putting this in the car because it's so large, but it was worth it. It's beautiful. I love all this detailing. And now you can kind of see what we mean about the double frame. So the original frame ends right here, and this is the original, and then this looks like it was an add-on. I didn't know that was a thing, but it makes sense that it would be. So it has this like really chunky, ornate frame because they did that. So I'm super happy with it. I think it's so pretty. We're gonna move our table back in, and then we can decorate and it'll be all done. Okay, so we're gonna start decorating, and I have these 2 lamps that I want to put out over here to swap out for the one that I'm getting rid of that was more modern. I got these lamps at a antique mall in South Carolina on a road trip that we went on. They came as just this lamp base. They didn't have a shade or the little twisty topper or anything like that. So I ordered the shade and the topper on Amazon and just put the shade together. It was super, super easy. You literally just like popped it onto the frame, and I think it looks really, really good. At first I was worried that the shade was maybe a little too big, but I think it fits with the space, and I think it kind of goes with the scale of the shelf and the picture and everything. So I want to put one of these on each end. I'm going to kind of like put them forward to offset from the shelf. And then I'll put the other one right over here, something like this. And I think that's gonna look really good and kind of give some balance to the space when we get all the other decor items out. Ultimately, what I'll probably do is for the cables that are running from the lamps, I'll make those little fabric covers that I've done in one of my earlier videos. They're just a really pretty way to disguise cables that you don't want seen in your space, and they're super easy. They're just like a tube of fabric that you can scrunch up, and it just looks like a decorative element rather than a cable running across your table. Okay, so next up I'm gonna add back in our wedding albums, and I'll probably put these like off to the side like that. And I'm gonna put this picture back. I do want to change this frame out, but I don't have a frame that's this size right now, so we'll put this just knowing that I'm gonna change this frame to something that fits the vibe a little bit more. And I like how this ties in like the black from the shade and the green from the picture, so it's kind of making a more blended image with the styling. So the other thing I want to do with this space is incorporate some of these books that Matt got for his birthday. So I think I want to put a couple on the shelf and then maybe a couple under these candlesticks that we have down here to kind of just add some different heights and textures and blend it all together.
waste your time on me.
I wanted to put it like this, but I don't feel good about the depth with the rim of the picture here. I feel like it's a little questionable, so I might put this one down here. And kind of just offset it like that. I think that'll work. And I have these two really pretty busts that I got at a flea market a while back that I've been waiting to use. So I think I'm gonna put them.
Waste your time on me.
And I have this really pretty tapered candlestick, a brass one, that I got at an antique mall not that long ago. So I thought that would be really nice to put right over here, but I feel like there's something missing in this space and I don't know exactly what it is, so I'm gonna look around at some of my decor items and see what I could stick there that would kind of balance it out. Okay, I think for my last decor piece that I want to add in, I'm gonna put this really pretty metal candle snuffer that I just got at a flea market. Guys, so this is our space totally done and decorated. I think it's so beautiful. I love how it turned out. I think it completely fits the feel of the house and that vintage French country kind of look that I'm going for. It has a very like old European feel to me, which I personally really love. I think it gives like a really moody, cozy kind of vibe when you walk into the house, and that's 100% my style. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I think it's so pretty, completely different from the way that it looked when we started this project. Very much more my vibe at this point in my life and how my style has developed as I've kind of gotten to know what I like and what I find inviting and cozy. I'm really happy with it. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this little makeover and the DIY shelf that we built. If you enjoyed it, please let me know what your favorite part was or your favorite decor piece, and if you give the shelf a try, I would love to know. I love hearing when you guys try out the projects that we do and how they went for you or how you put your spin on it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this. I put out new videos every single Sunday, so we would love to have you be a part of our DIY community and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday.